Hi, everybody. I guess we are live. Yay. I would try doing Substack, but I have problems with Substack. I got a little time to do a live. I've been off today, and I really wasn't going to do anything, but shit. Things are just broken today that we need to talk about. The last few minutes, actually. First of all, the chaos around the war in Iran is starting to ramp up. Trump keeps saying that everything's fine. We won the war. We're cutting the deal. Apparently, there's some kind of 15-point um, peace treaty that's going through Pakistan to the Iranians to try to get a ceasefire, but they don't. It's there's a lot of stuff that just comes back and forth and back and forth. We don't know what's going on. Now here we go. Um, New York Times was reporting just a few minutes ago that the 82nd Airborne has been called up. That is just quick strike force, one of the quick strike force, like with the 101st Airborne. But they're not taking the entire brigade. They're only taking 1,500 troops and command staff, and they're getting them being deployed to the Middle East. So it looks like they are going to try something. That he is going to try either go after Karg Island or maybe confirm the Strait of Hormuz. How he's going to do it to try either go after Karg Island or maybe confirm the Strait of Hormuz. How he's going to do it with 1,500 troops, I have no idea. And with the Iranians lying in wait, I have no idea how this is going to work. Oh my lord. And it's weird because Trump keeps saying they want out. The White House wants out. But apparently someone who's influenced them, that's even more influenced them than Bibi Netanyahu, who is getting the Israeli government is getting nervous because if Trump backs out of the war, they're stuck holding the bag against Iran, and Iran may stop hitting the Gulf states and may loose this Strait of Hormuz. But I got a feeling they were not going to stop that war, stop their fight with Israel, and it'll get worse for them. If you want to see what's going on, you can watch live Al Jazeera news here on TikTok. I found it. It was refreshing to watch it because it actually reminded me of old school CNN doing news stories. Wow, I hadn't seen that in so long without any damn, political or specials. It was just straight reporting. And I hadn't seen that I haven't seen that. I can't even remember the last time I saw that. But if you find it, watch it because they are telling what's going on in the news. CBC also can be found here on TikTok. You can get BBC News. You can do it either through radio. I'm not sure. They do have an app, I think, that you can watch it, but it's worth it because you can't trust the mass media because they're going to lie to us, which they continue to do. Now, here's where it gets really sticky. The New York Times is reporting, and other news are reporting, that the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, Mohammed bin Salad, this is the guy who ordered the execution of the reporter, Washington Post reporter, who came to power by basically getting rid of the family competition. These are facts. And has been in Trump's ear, encouraging him to continue the war as an opportunity to reshape the Middle East. So the Saudis are trying to tell Trump stay in a war. So technically, the Saudi Arabia is in league with Israel, and I thought Saudi Arabia didn't acknowledge Israel's existence. This is all about men trying to get something out of this, okay? Because the Saudis don't want to consider the Iranians as competition, and them whacking the Gulf states means It's more for them. And this guy's looking at power because he may go to the Gulf states and say, hey, join us. Now, this is speculation on my part. I don't know shit about that per se. I'm not an idiot. But again, everyone knows that Trump is basically like Play-Doh. Okay? And you can shape him the way you want if you give him what he wants. I mean, he's saying that the Iranians gave him some kind of great gift. A really good. Again, money. Everything's about transaction and exchange. Transaction and exchange, and also him feeling like he's got to be the biggest man. And I mean, but here's the thing: if he's talking about the troops, if he's talking about the war's over and trying to peace, why did you call it the 82nd Airborne? Who is running this bus? Because apparently, Pete Hegseth doesn't want a short war. He wants a long war. He wants to play with his toys, which includes men. And the other thing I keep thinking, 1,500 paratroopers with what support? And Carg Island, you know that's going to be disaster. You know that's going to be rigged up, bombed, all that. It's not going to be easy. And contrary to what Lindsey Graham said, yeah, well, they took Iwo Jima in 3 days. No, dude. They got on top of Mount Suribachi in 3 days, but later it took them weeks to clear out the Japanese in those tunnels, and it was at great cost. And trust me, the Japanese, the World War II Japanese, that fight was to the knife for the United States and for Japan. It was personal. For the Iranians, this is a fight to the knife. I said this on Mike's podcast on Monday. If you haven't seen it, it's on YouTube and Spotify. Take a listen to it. We had a good discussion. But I brought that up. The Iranians have been planning this fight since 1979. And their government it had issues. It was a very cruel government. But it also had control of the citizenship. And the Mossad tried to do an uprising. Apparently, again, reports coming out afterwards, they tried to ferment an uprising. The problem is that when you're raining bombs on the civilians, you want to uprise, and you start killing their family members, they don't care anymore. It's a lose-lose situation for them. Also, the Revolutionary Guard and the religious police in the Iranians are solid. They thought the Guard would want to get around the Ayatollahs, or, someone would want to slip in and get some more power. Doesn't work like that there. Also, they're going to fight because, now it's for survival. And when you put an enemy as nothing to lose, and let's face it, part of the problem we have right now with this war is Hegseth and Trump and all the others looked at them as brown people that really wouldn't be able to, excuse me, shouldn't be a problem. All that missiles and stuff, no, don't worry about it. Yeah, these people the Iranian people or Iranian government is planning, and they have weapons, and they still have weapons, and they're still bombing, and they're still sending missiles. I think the funniest thing is to watch Israeli government people on news shows talking about the tragedy of Israel being bombed and Israeli citizens being killed by this regime. And I'm sitting there going, you poked the bear. You thought this would be easy. Actually, you knew it wasn't going to be easy. You just put the United States, into this mess as a backup, so you can persecute your war or your idea of greater Israel. Look, they're bombing the hell out of Lebanon. They're pushing to southern Lebanon. They are pushing out residents in southern Lebanon. Same time, they are doing that in the West Bank. So Israel is disingenuous about this war. Okay, this is not a war. This is a war for them to do what they want. And again, this is if you don't support this war, doesn't mean you are for the Iranian government. No, the Iranian government is a horrible government, but that wasn't our business. That was the Iranian people's business. And as for what's going to happen next, I'm going to say that a lot of people, and it's just gearing up. Trump may be saying one thing, but he is going to, the Hesketh is probably convinced him, and he was talking to the Crown Prince, we're going to have troops on the ground soon. And it's not going to be many. It makes sense to me that they would put a few down on the ground, okay? Saying that, look, it's the 82nd Airborne. They could take anybody, and it's going to be a disaster because they won't have support. I do not trust the brain trust running this war. See, Shane, exactly when say you will Trump started this war, it's all his fault. Yeah, it's all his fault. And things are starting to spiral out of control here at home. I mean, this is the mentality we're dealing with. Okay, the war we talked about. TSA, the whole thing going on in the airports, putting ice in the ground. They're not doing anything. They're standing around. Okay, they're just standing around doing nothing. Or in San Francisco, they're arresting a woman in front of and her child, and apparently TSA had tipped them off, but she had her passport and she was leaving the country. It was just leaving the motherfucking country and had her passport with her daughter. Why do you need to arrest her to deport her? There's no common sense in this, other than that they're bullies. You watch those guys walking around, they are bullies. There is a video, though, of a guy. This is a kid. This kid must be 17 years old, 18, 19, I don't know. He is thin as a rail, and he has glasses. Literally, horn-rimmed glasses. And he's wearing, he's the opposite of the big guys wearing the armor where it sits up here. It freaking hangs down like a skirt. And homeboy's walking around being an ICE agent. Okay, good luck with that, bro. I mean, good luck getting any job later on because you can't wear masks. They got pictures of you now. And when this ends, and it will end, and you would end young, you're going to show up and you're going to go for a real job. And people are going, ooh, is that you? Oh, that is you, isn't it? Cute. No. There will be consequences for them. If you're watching this live, please like it, forward it to repost it or send it out to people so we can get some traction. Yeah, thank you, Lord. Called him Sheldon's lab partner. Yeah, you saw what I mean. It was. I looked at it. I'm going. You must need the money. I get it. You must need the money, but dude, no. You're going to get into a scuffle. Someone's going to no. Just like, oh my God. But that's where they're at. Now, on a quick note on the DHS, they did put Mark Wayne Mulvaney, I call him Marky, now as the head of DHS. So basically, they put a man who was a poster child for fucking anger management courses in charge of the Department of Homeland Security and in charge of basically a goon squad that has no control. It's going to get worse. Even though it was bad now, he is literally going to make it worse. He has plans. They once caught him in an interview saying that it's fine to beat children with belts. Now, for someone who's got hit by a belt, I get it. But I will say this, honestly, I've never did to my kids. Because you know what's more effective in discipline? Side note. It's not the physical. The one thing I didn't want to do was disappoint my mom. And you disappoint your parents, that's where it gets bad. So yeah, that's that. Also, if you want any kind of gifts, I do have a goal I would appreciate. Um, quick commercial. I'm here on TikTok, RJ12764. As you can see in here, thank you for joining the live. I am on Substack at Binder38US and YouTube at Binder38US. Follow me there. Like my videos. I have 138 people in my Substack. I'd like to get to about 200 before April's over. Also, I have a paid option for that. I hate to use paid subscription because I don't put anything behind a paywall. But if you want to help me out, it's $8 a month. I would really appreciate that. That would be helpful as I go through a lot of stuff here. And also, it kind of takes some pressure off work and all that. I mean, I'm old. Sometimes you'd like to retire. But I like doing this. And if you want to, if you like my work and want to support it, subscribe to my Substack at Binder38US. If you can't afford it, fine, subscribe anyway. I do put stuff, it's all free. I do not put stuff behind a paywall. And here at TikTok, follow me if you want. I don't know how long I have because I had 2 videos back to back got whacked for community violations talking about stuff we're just talking about now. And I had no way to appeal. Quick note, that thing they call that Vegas guy, I reached out to try to help him. He said, yeah, I'll help you for $100. Okay. I ain't playing that. I'm going to play that. All right. And if I go down, I go down. But I ain't coughing up $100 to you, bro. Sorry. I heard that. I go, it's a donation. No, that's fine. I'll figure my way through. Shit. I heard that. I'm going, okay, nope. Thank you. No. Now, moving on. So with the TSA situation, there was a deal. As you saw, there was a deal that they brought to Trump that they agree with the Democrats because they saw it spring break and trying to help out. Well, they take ICE funding out and fund everything else as DHS, which is Coast Guard, FEMA, and TSA security. And they took it to Trump, and Trump rejected it. Now, here's my thing. I did a video on this. There are 3 equal branches. Follow me. If you've watched Schoolhouse Rock or, you know this. There are 3 equal branches of government, okay? The legislative, the executive, and the judicial. Forefathers set it up because they did not want a king dictating the whole policy. That's what they wanted. That's what they were specific about. That even that's why George Washington left after 2 terms, because he did not want them to think that it's just one king or he could just pick a successor. He wanted to make sure that the idea of what the United States and Republic stood for would stand behind him. But what bothers me about that is, if you have a deal in the Senate, okay, do the deal, do the vote, and put the bill on the president's desk and say, here you go. We've come to an agreement. Here's the bill. Sign it and we'll have everything funded. But no, they run to Trump and Trump says, no, I don't want you to do that until you bring the SAVE Act in. But he doesn't dictate what Congress does. He makes suggestions to what Congress can do. He can make suggestions, but he doesn't run Congress. Congress runs Congress. The majority leader in the Senate is supposed to bring legislation and work for legislation that comes from the House that the Speaker of the House sets up. You see, Mike Johnson and John Thune have given the power of the legislative branch to Trump. Trump says he's not going to sign anything without the SAVE Act. Trump is telling him, no, don't negotiate. I told the Republicans, don't negotiate with them, with Democrats. No, I'm not going to until I get the SAVE Act. And you're not going to get the SAVE Act. You're not going to get it. It's not going to happen. You're not going to get 60 votes. Okay? No, you can't do it through reconciliation. I heard that today. What they were trying to do is tell Trump, hey, sign this, and then we can do the SAVE Act through reconciliation, but you can't. Reconciliation is only for things that affect budgets, money. SAVE Act has nothing to do with that. 1974, the Byrd provision of the Reconciliation Act says no. You cannot slap a bunch of amendments and write it into the budget. If it's not about the budget, it can't be reconciled. It has to go to the regular floor, and it has to have 60 votes because they got to stop the filibuster. And they said, well, they'll do a talking filibuster. Fine. Democrats said, let's do it. Someone said, I've got Epstein files. I'll read the Epstein files right here. And they don't want that. So Republicans are stuck. And because they have no backbone, they have forgotten how government works and how the Constitution works. Hey, how you doing, Aquarian? They have forgotten how that works. They have power. All right. Even if it's the president of the same party, you could check him because you have the power as Congress. I mean, Democratic government, Congress has done to Democratic presidents. Republican Congresses have done that to Republican presidents. That's the point of the three branches of government. So one man, a king, the executive, the person as president. Let's see here, Corin. Do you think when he's gone, they will magically forget their fealty towards him? I don't know, Aquarian. Aquarian right here said, do you think when he's gone, just magically forget their fealty towards him? MAGA, or whatever this is pretty much entrenched in the Heritage Foundation. What they won't, I think they would worship him as still some kind of deity. I will guarantee you, sir, that there will be cults of people worshiping him when he passes away. Literally, there'll be a Church of Trump. You know I'm right, okay? You know I'm right, because they said he's looking down to protect it. I mean, you've heard people say he's the closest thing to God on this planet. You've heard these people, okay? And they can't, but here's the thing, and Aquarian says, I feel MTG wants to come back in the future to lead it. You can't lead it because Trump was one of the weird bourbon flow. Let's throw, Charlie, thank you. Hey, Charlie, let's get some beads, brother. It's Mardi Gras again. Sorry, I just thought of that. But here's the thing. The one thing that Trump has done is that all Republicans, because think about it, everything we've seen with Republicans is not different. Okay, they've been hawking this bullshit for close to 40 or 50 years. The woke in different forms against rights of gay rights, against everything. They've been doing this for decades. They just haven't had anyone to solidify behind that will let the worst of them do the worst of their shit. Trump is that. Trump has allowed them to be their worst and has solidified it to the point where they can do whatever they want. Look what's going on in Republican state houses. Ohio, they want to set up a pregnancy. What the hell do you call that? A tracking system that when a woman becomes pregnant, they have to report that to the state. And the state, and then monthly reports on the life of the child, and the child passes away, they have to send a death certificate to the state to determine if it was a natural death or something. Oh my, whoa. And this was a woman who introduced that in Ohio, a registry. Thanks, Gallifrey. It was a woman that did that. I mean, it also, like, I believe it might not be Tennessee, but it's another state where if you have a miscarriage, oh no, it was introduced in the House. It's some kind of Clean Water Act. I swear, this is not kidding. Because this lady gets on the floor and says, there's the water treatment plants have been complaining that they're finding little babies dead in water, in the water treatment plants. This is lies. This is a lie put out by some crazy pro-lifer, okay? But she introduced a bill where nationally women, if they have a miscarriage, they have to get a catching mechanism to catch whatever happens and take it to a hospital to be analyzed to make sure they didn't do it themselves. So it doesn't go into the sewer system if someone actually, flushes a miscarriage. Look, my wife had 2 miscarriages. And she didn't know. It was horrid. And you do this, and this is what's going on. The Republicans are falling back on what they know, and the last thing what they want to do is go after women's rights because they think that's fair game. I mean, Heritage Foundation, talking about setting up women who are unmarried taken to camps so they can be married off. Look, this is coming from men who never dated. Okay? I just never get these guys. This male loneliness. No one loves me. Why don't I have friends? Maybe because you're not friendly. Okay? Do you see the size of me? I have always been big. And I'll be honest, I went on dates. I met women. I have friends. I mean, because why? Because I wasn't sitting around feeling sorry for myself. Okay? My wife is a beauty. When I met her, oh my God. And I was who I am. And I won. And the point is, you guys sit there and whine, and I see you guys, and I talk about, and it turns into bitterness against women because you can't be a human being and interact with people. That's all I'm saying. You got to interact with people. Get out. All right. You could have friends if you play Madden across the internet. You can meet people. Go to a sporting event. Go to a bar. Sit there. Talk with guys. Talk with people. But see, the problem with these guys, they want things handed to them. I joked once that when Trump became president, these guys were expecting a woman in their home tomorrow. Because I watched them and they're so toxic. And that's why, let's face it, I think Johnny Banana said correct. Women don't need men need women. And that's been forever, okay? Men just covered up through their violence and their stupidity. Yeah, I'm not speaking as a man. So that's another issue that keeps coming up. And you see it. And it's kind of sad. And I feel bad for you because I understand what it is to be lonely and you think no one likes you and all that. But you can fix it. I mean, it's hilarious. The one thing I was like, they always make fun of nerds. Okay. People who like Star Trek or Star Wars which is me, watch movies and all that. But have you ever been to a Comic Con? Here in Georgia, they have MomoCon, which my kids go to every year. Huge in Atlanta. Anime convention. People everywhere. It's cool to watch the costumes and everyone interacts and everyone has a good time. And you sit there and go, what the hell? And you just make your life so small. You don't reach out. That's the thing. You got to reach out. You got to reach out. And it's kind of sad. It's just a bitterness, okay? And if you choose a life, if you choose to get married and have kids, that's for you. Do not shame other women who do not want to do that. That's right. and sails unfurled. Yeah, right. Sails unfurled. Um, it's just you got to enjoy that stuff, and that's I guess everyone has bad times in life. Trust me, and we're going through one right now, a battle for my wife. But I would tell you, someone told me once is that life is 20% of what happens to you and 80% how you react to it. I mean, everyone can be miserable, everything, but do you have a plan? Everyone can get miserable. You got to have a plan. I don't mean for this to go this way, but let me make a quick point here. Um, I read a book years ago about written by a couple of Marine lieutenants, female Marine officers, and they said they were talking about what to do in crisis because as a Marine officer, you have to figure out what to do. And I always liked that. He said that you compare it to flying an aircraft that has problems in the air. And I always liked that advice because the first thing you said is that after you take a deep breath and you can panic for a moment. But after that, the first thing you have to do is what do I do to keep the plane in the air? What do you have to do? And then you evaluate the problem. And that's the thing. You have to have how do you react to a problem? Trust me, I've done stuff, I've flipped out on shit, but then afterwards take a deep breath. Okay, now what? That's what are you going to take a knee or are you going to get up and try to figure a way out of it? Could it end badly? Shit, yeah. Everything can end badly. It's just what do you do from it? And I think that's a lot of the problem with MAGA and all these people is that they think that trying to figure out a problem or not buying into that everything's simple, but only you can only go after that the only thing you have left is hate is pathetic. That's what happens. When someone can't get somewhere or they don't get anything, they stop fighting to become bitter and they hate everybody. It's a fact. You hate what you can't have. And I think that's a lot of it. And people like Trump and the Republican Party have taken advantage of that for decades. So they vote against their best interest. I mean, it never made sense to me because you can see bullshit. Most of us can see bullshit, but some people don't. And I mean, that's just my take. And I'm not saying my life's perfect, trust is far from it. But one thing I've always said, I've never tried to quit. I don't quit. Try not to quit. It's not easy. It's not. There are days you want to do anything, days you want to lay down, and these days you basically want to say, fuck this. And I think that's part of the issue we have now with the 10 years of Trump. It's always been pressure. Pressure of everything. Even at the time that we had Biden as president, that was still coming out of COVID. And COVID was pressure. Everyone's been going through this. And one thing I've noticed is that Trump creates chaos that everyone has to suffer under because it makes them feel better. It makes them feel bigger. I mean, let's be honest. The economy under Biden was good. It wasn't great. He was trying to come back. He was trying to build something. Right now, with the war that is causing gas prices and oil prices to go up, which run the world. And now, not only is gas going to be more expensive, as diesel gets more expensive, food's going to get more expensive. Fertilizer is expensive. And they might not have it. They have a shortage of fertilizer. A lot of things happen. And you can't bullshit your way around it. They're trying, but they can't. And we all have to take care because we bought into the con. He conned you with simple answers and hate. I mean, the mass deportations fed into the hate of many people, especially older Americans who see their country changing and they don't like it. They want it to be the same. No. Can't accept change. So they want to force it to go backwards. That's all Project 2025 is in Heritage Foundation. They want to go backwards. But here's the thing. Their idea of backwards never existed. You know, talking about controlling women, you don't control women. Even under those situations, women figured a way around it. Again, why did grandma have 4 husbands? You see the point? The point being is that we are we got stuck because we came out of the Obama years and a lot of people just couldn't deal with person of color, and there were a lot of things that came up, and it just metastasized into Trump. And now we have this experiment that we tried and it's failed miserably. Why we tried for a second bite of that apple, I do know, because no one was going to elect a black woman as president. Saw that. Don't give me any kind of the evaluations. Either the MAGA was going to vote for it, the far left wasn't going to vote, and they made excuses about, Kamala Harris and Palestine. By the way, to those people who are never Kamala because of Palestine, how's that working for y'all? Just asking. Because Palestine no longer exists. It doesn't. I mean, I've never seen anything like that. That is a cold-blooded ethnic cleansing. Cold-blooded. And the Israelis are proud of it. Or the Israeli government is proud of it. And the military is proud of it. And it's cruel. And there will be a reckoning for that too. Eventually. Because as much as Netanyahu wants to hold on to power, he will lose it. And when he crashes, it's going to be hard. He can't hang on forever. And if you notice, they're all the same age. He's 76, Trump's 79. These older guys being led by their noses. And that's why we worry every day, because I don't know how we'll get out of this without really harming everyone and losing lives or losing our wealth or losing our country. We have to rebuild it from scratch. I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot we have to deal with every damn day. And you wake up and you listen and you go, shit. Or you hear something and it's just wrong. You hear it's wrong. And you know it's wrong. That's why 36% only approve of Trump in this country right now. And here's the other thing I'm going to bring up before I get Trucker here to come up. They had a special election in the state district, Florida, where Mar-a-Lago sits, and the Democrat won. And that should scare the piss out of them. That's another thing for Republicans to run around with their heads cut off. Trucker, how you doing, brother?
Hey, I'm good. Will, how you doing?
Doing good. Just popping on. I took a day off to do some stuff, trying to recharge, and I just thought I'd do a few minutes here live and bring out, because there's a lot of stuff that just came up. I don't know if you saw the reports that just came down from New York Times, but they activated 82nd Airborne.
Yeah, I saw that. And what's confusing, again, to me is that he keeps saying that, hey, we're winding down. They're cutting backdoor deals, right? He's saying that they gave him some really sweet prize, but he's sending troops over. So I don't know what this guy is up to. Hey, Gallifrey, how you doing, bud? Yeah, I don't know what they're up to be honest with you, unless they're trying to start something else somewhere else. You know what I mean? Hey, Laura.
But they didn't pull the whole brigade. They're looking at only 1,500 men. What are you going to do with 1,500 men?
Yeah,
especially in this situation. It doesn't make sense to me, and I'm not a military guy.
Well,
it just doesn't make sense.
It looks like they're either going to invade somewhere else, right? Or he's just doing that as a show of force, perhaps. I did see today where they've raged. Check this out. Okay, so I was kind of perusing on Facebook, and I saw where the age went from 35, I believe, enlistment age to 32 to 45. And it's okay now if you had a minor gardening charge back in the day.
Oh, you mean if you smoke the or
Yeah.
taking a gummy
Uh huh.
in cigarette form?
Yes.
Okay,
So they're
that is
relaxing
still a
all of
no
them.
no.
Oh yeah. Yeah. You got to be clean as a whistle when you go in there.
Wow, that's surprising. I doubt everyone is. They just don't admit to it. I
Oh,
mean,
hey,
come
when I
on.
went in, Will, I was
Hmm.
17 and a half. And I can
Okay,
unequivocally tell you that we used to have amnesty periods, right? Where they'll tell you,
okay,
hey, okay, whatever's in your pocket, just take it out, throw it away. Once you get across that,
okay.
once you get across that field, if we catch it on you, you're in trouble. But right now, drop it.
My God, I find that hard. It's still hard to believe that you still have that in this time, where you can go out and buy, like I said, you know, gummies
Right.
with literally gummies with more THC than you have in a cigarette.
Absolutely. Well, our
I mean, that's
governor
just,
finally came around, Will, Governor Braun.
oh, the Indiana.
Yeah, he
What do you
said
do?
in a post, I think it was yesterday or over the weekend, where he says, "Hey, we're going to have to take a look at uh, this marijuana thing because our bordering states are just clobbering us. They're making billions, and we're not getting any
Yes,
money." Yeah,
it's tax money. California's tax money. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's dumb. I mean, come on, guys. Reefer Madness was a joke. Have you ever seen that? Yeah, you've seen it. So you know what I'm talking about.
yeah.
But I mean, it's funny because like I laugh because there's a show on Paramount Plus with Monica Barranco. That woman was gorgeous. God, I love her. But
Monica
she plays a sheriff.
Barrancos.
Yeah, but Barranco. Yeah, she's in Firefly. She's been in a lot of stuff. You can't miss her. She was in Deadpool. Played the
Oh,
girlfriend.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Okay, her. So she plays the sheriff of this small county in Northern California, and she was raised by her dad who used to sell weed.
Uh-oh.
And now he's a like and it's like part of the whole culture of the county. There are people who do legal and it's really interesting to watch that because as a sheriff she goes, yeah, it is what it is.
Right.
It's not illegal,
Well,
but
yeah.
it's just how we changed. We've moved on from that. But I was saying earlier for Akachi is that everyone wants to go backwards to a world that never existed.
Exactly.
That it doesn't exist. This whole, Stephen Miller Project 2025 world never existed.
Yeah,
And the
happy-go-lucky
idea,
bullshit. Yeah.
yeah, and the idea that, and I was saying, the idea that you can control women, um, to do what you want, not let them think, not, are you out of your mind?
Let me tell you this, Will. Growing up, I had a mother and
Mm-hmm.
three sisters. When I got
Uh huh.
married, I had a wife and three daughters
Yeah, there you go.
and a son. And you are not controlling that at all.
Nope.
Trust me.
And it's like I hear these guys, and it's just like it's you can't buy into it. And the only reason you buy into it because that's all they have. They
Exactly.
keep it's all they have left. And I understand these guys. I understand the young guys are lonely, but dude, go get a hobby. Go
Well,
meet people. It's ridiculous.
remember Nick Fuentes when he was being a real douche early after the election when he was telling women, hey, you no longer control your body. Your body is your body,
Oh,
my
after
choice, all of that.
yeah, that. Oh
It's
God, yes.
little guys like that who think they have the power, and they don't have any power. The real power is for the guys who stand up for the women and keep it pushing.
Yeah, I mean, and it's just kind of that's the thing, and the idea that society was something better in the 50s. Look, my mom told me stories about the 50s. I remember this years when Happy Days was on TV. We were
Hmm.
watching it, and my mom was watching this. What she goes, "Oh yeah, that was set in the 50s, Happy Days." And my mom, who grew up in El Paso, Texas, she goes, "It wasn't for us."
It wasn't for us either, I can tell you that.
Yeah, yeah, and like my mom just dropped the mic, walked away because she was right. It's a fantasy that they all hang on to. It's like Madman, Mad Men, that movie, that show, that's a fantasy. Okay? And if you watch that show, the women ran that fucking office. Okay?
Exactly.
Honestly. And that's, and I think that's part of what we're seeing here is the older folks can't see the idea of change. Obama so messed them in the head that Trump was a good a good option. I asked Mike this, and I want to bring this up to you because I'm curious what you think. I was just thinking because I remember that Obama beat McCain. Now John McCain wasn't perfect, but he was a good dude. If McCain had won that election, do you think that Trump would be existing now?
Yeah, he was existing. I tell you why. I saw
I
a
mean, would he
video.
come back politically? I
Oh
meant
yeah, absolutely.
politically.
Yeah, I saw a
Right?
video
Okay.
today where
Mm-hmm.
Tiffany sent it to me, and it was kind of interesting how Trump was
Mm-hmm.
behind the scenes with Reagan and Mike Stone and all those guys. It was kind of interesting. I'm gonna flip it to you. He's always
Okay.
been lurking behind the scenes, but I think he was being groomed. But let me step back one thing though
Mm-hmm.
about women, and I'll say this because I agree with you.
Mm-hmm.
When was there ever a time when women were controlled? Never. You know what I mean? So I don't know where they get
Yeah.
this grandiose idea that we can absolutely, tell women this, or I saw a guy the other day saying they shouldn't be voting, they shouldn't be, all this ignorant shit. But I can't think. I'm 57 years old. I
Mm-hmm.
don't remember a time when women weren't in charge of something.
Or push for something.
Right.
I mean, and if you, it's just, yeah, I watch these guys. I'm going, but they live. I don't know who their models or what their women were in their lives. I know what my mom was like. I know what my wife was like. I knew all the women I met in my life. They are just. I've never met. It's women are going to do what is the best thing for them.
Well, here's the thing, Will. Those guys that are talking that, right? The Trumps and all those
Mm-hmm.
guys, they're millionaires and billionaires, right? They have housewives that don't have to work. But the real people like us, we don't subscribe to that philosophy. You know what I mean?
No,
We don't
no.
subscribe to that because it's not true. We're all listen. Everybody, I think, needs to just sit back for one day and reflect, right? And just say, what the hell?
And they don't give us a chance to do that. If you notice, that's why that every day is uh, um, a stress day under this
Yeah,
government.
every single day
What's
is
going to happen
something.
next? What's going on? What this? What is he doing now? What's he doing now? What's he doing? And the thing about it is, the only people that don't care are those devoted to him, those making money from him, and the rest of us are going, what? You know, and they can't. No, the Save Act is not going to pass.
No, that's not
I'm
good.
going to make this clear. The funny thing about the whole TSA thing is that the deal, and you probably saw this, the deal was done. Trump nixed the deal. But it's stupid because you're Congress. You could put the damn bill on his desk and tell him to sign it or not.
Right. And
But
if he
you're
doesn't, in
better.
10 days, it goes into
Yeah,
law anyway, right?
yeah. And he's, they have given up the equal branch of Congress. They just said, okay, Trump runs everything. No, he doesn't.
He
That's
does
why the
not.
system was built like that.
Well,
But they're cowards. They're damn
they are.
cowards. Trump says, bend over. Okay, sir, how deep?
Yeah. And how wide? And I'll tell you
How
another
wide?
thing. How do you think TSA feels right now where these ICE agents are in these airports, right? Standing around, holding their vests, running from paparazzi, getting paid, right? Because they get paid and TSA
Oh,
doesn't,
yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
How do you think TSA feels right now looking at them bitches just standing there drinking sodas and shit?
And the thing about it is that I mean, to watch some of these guys, the pictures being taken, they're going to be. But did you see? And I brought this earlier. Did you see that skinny kid with the glasses?
Oh God,
With
give
an,
me a
did you did see him?
yeah. I saw that guy with the
I
blonde
mean, I'm
hair or
like,
red hair. Yeah,
yeah, with the big horn rimmed glasses, and he was the opposite because like the big guys like me who do that wear their vest, they're up to here, right, like a
right.
ball. That guy's that vest was like a skirt almost to him. And who are you going to stop, dude?
Nobody.
I mean, but I get it. Why is he there? Probably needs the money.
Yep.
All
But
right,
I could
probably
tell you
needs the
how I would
money.
feel though, Will, if I was a TSA and I've got to go through all this extra shit I got to do and work, and you guys are supposed to be here to help us make my job easier, and you're standing around getting paid, and I haven't gotten paid in 30 days. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
mm.
Quit or
Yeah, I'd
do
be
things.
livid. I'd be livid.
Yeah,
I'd be in the bathroom for 3 hours. Sorry, my stomach hurts.
yeah. I mean, and the thing about it, they don't have to do the scanners. They could help maybe do a search. Maybe they can move people through, but they're not. They're just, you could see as they walk around, there's a certain, we can get away with anything look on all of
Arrogance.
them.
Yes.
Oh, and I'm going to ask you, because as a Latino, when I see Latino ICE agents, the first thing said race trader. My God, do you see the number of black ICE agents?
Yeah, or we just call
Jesus
them Uncle
Lord.
Toms. That's all. You know what I mean? It's like, come on,
Wow.
bro. You know better than that. They're
They
they're
showed in Atlanta, there were like a whole bunch
mhm.
of, there were a lot of women.
A lot of women. Yep, absolutely.
Uh,
But yeah. Well, I don't want to get myself in trouble, but yeah, those were a lot of women that could probably whoop a man. Uh,
yeah.
so
But it's a useless act. It's just Trump basically being Trump. And he doesn't want to, he's just telling them, no, negotiate with the Democrats anymore. We're just going to keep doing this till we get the SAVE Act. Dude, the SAVE Act ain't passing. It doesn't help anybody. It doesn't help anyone.
you know how I think
They
about
took
ICE agents, Will, right now?
what?
Anybody that's
Mm,
of color, black or brown, that's ICE, or even a woman for this matter, they are the
mm,
ones that if you're driving down a freeway and you see cars coming in to merge and they look at you and be like, whatever. You know what I mean? As opposed
yeah,
to getting over and letting you in. There are those people who just don't give two shit, and they'll get their just due sooner or later.
yeah. And they passed. So they confirmed Mark Wayne Mulvaney. I
Yeah,
refer to him as Marky.
he,
Um,
he's not gonna last well.
well, here's the thing: they put the man who literally is a poster child for anger management classes in charge of this department with a bunch of arrogant goons.
Good.
It's it's
Let him
gonna get bad,
absolutely. And what's
real
going to happen is he's
worse.
going to go down with the ship. He's going to go down harder than
Oh yeah.
Christy Nome, as a matter of fact.
I mean, that's a guy who tried to pick a fight with a Teamster in the
Yeah,
Senate. I mean, and Oklahoma will get a new senator. He'll be a Republican. But what are they going to do? I
well,
mean,
maybe
they're good.
maybe somebody will take him up on his dueling offer, Will, and be the end of it.
Oh God, yeah, I heard that. See, that's insane. Dueling. What? Who comes up with this crap? Who thinks that? Who thinks that? But he does. Again, thinking on the time that didn't exist. Hey
Exactly.
guys, let me make it clear. Doing was a bad idea. Okay, it's a bad thing. It's
What did that
but these
senator say?
guys,
He said that hasn't been allowed in 170 years.
107 years. I mean, there are stories of the old Senate. I
Ah,
think there was a senator that once hit another senator with a cane on the
nice.
Senate floor. It's See, that's the thing. We're dealing with incompetence on a mass scale. The accident they had in LaGuardia,
Oh,
they're starting to do the what they call the fishbone, trying to figure
hmm
out what happened. And what they're seeing is that the air traffic control from the base, the air traffic control was distracted, that the fire truck didn't hear them, and that's what happened. But they're starting to see that they were short people again. All right, the equipment wasn't working. Little things like that that led to that disaster. Little
Did I
things
hear
like
that
that.
the trucks themselves didn't have the necessary transponder they were supposed to have?
Right, and he when he gave, if you listen to the audio, he gave them the approval, and then he saw the plane. He told him stop, 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 and he wouldn't. He didn't stop. And you see
Well,
that the plane had already landed, but he
it,
slammed into him
it's too late.
on the
Yeah, it was
runway.
way too late at that point.
And I feel bad for the guy because he said I messed up. You see it on the thing, and there's so many circumstances. And this is part of what happened with Doge. You remember they fired a shitload of people from the FAA.
Yep.
All right. Oh, thank you.
Well,
Sumner beaten by Brooks with a cane, 1856. Brooks was the Southerner. Thank you, bro. Thank you. I remember the story. But that they cleared out the FAA. They went through early parts, and they still haven't recovered. And we're seeing that now.
right. You want to know what's really
Eh,
sad though about all of this?
mhm,
Um, I was watching a TikTok video the other day on spring break,
mhm.
and the lady was just going around to random kids on the beach and asking them a simple question: Who won the Civil War? And not one of them could answer that question. Was it let's say Russia? No, what? China? And I just and then one girl said us. She-
Technically, she was right.
You're right. Jeez.
Technically,
Oh,
technically,
and I'm
it's
thinking to
like
myself, this is why they all voted for him because they're not smart,
it's how do you get into college?
right? Isn't it like a sixth grade civil class?
Yeah, I mean that's what happened. It's like what I was talking about. They were just damn. I don't, and that's the thing. I hear these people. Here's the worst thing about social media. The best thing to social media that you're in Indiana, I'm in Georgia. We never met. We can have a pretty good conversation because we're kind of. That's the best thing about this shit, honestly. But but these you get people who do videos and you go, do you understand what you're saying? Do you understand what you just said? Because it doesn't make sense. History, like especially once it's talk about history, they're just like, I go, what? That's just crazy.
Hey,
And
selfish,
I go,
bro. Nobody cares, bro.
see, registration up, Dems losing in Arizona. Yeah, they haven't. Let me put it in clean selfish. Let me put it this, okay? And then I'm going to block you in just a moment. Let me kind of tell you, there have been 29 special elections, okay? Not one have been won by a Republican, and the majority have been blowouts.
Right.
And
So
that happened again tonight. So that statistic means squat because Republicans are crossing the lines. That's what's going on. So enjoy your cultish. Bye. Okay, we're done there. All right, moving on.
I figured you would enjoy that one, Will.
Oh no, I was looking at him going, what are you talking about? That doesn't matter anymore. Okay? Democrats won Democrat. No mother, they won in seats.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. What the hell are you talking about? Oh my God, people.
He's gone. Well,
Drugs.
he just
He's
kept
gone. I know.
repeating the same thing over and over.
I know.
So I figured you would have fun taking him
Yeah.
down.
Oh, you TikTok says Civil War nerd. All you have to watch is Ken Burns' Civil War the documentary, and that's all you need to do. And if you haven't seen that, go find it.
Hmm.
It is the best piece of history, best piece of documentary ever done.
What's the name
From
of
the
it?
emotions, say again, just the Civil War, Ken Burns' Civil War
Oh, I got you. I
documentary.
got you. Yep.
The stories, the historians, the music. It's an amazing thing because they lay a lot of stuff out. because the Civil War was a defining moment for the United States.
Mm-hmm.
I think there was a black historian. She said at the end of the show in the last episode is that was the time when the United States went from we to is, where we became one country. We
Right.
came together, and so it's an amazing. That's the thing. People don't watch things like that anymore. Sometimes they
No,
don't.
they're too busy watching Jersey Shore and all that dumb shit that has no
That's
relevance.
just. But and there are, and here's the thing: no one might. I'm not going to knock people watching something like that, but occasionally, like TV can be really good when you watch it. Barbara. I think I forgot her name. TikTok. I forgot her name, but I can see her face. And they had Shelby Foote. He was hilarious. An old Southern boy talking about the Civil War. But it's just that here's the thing. Here's a good one for you. I was going through my FYP and ran across two guys talking about the movie Hail Mary. I have read all of Andy Weir's books. Okay, The Martian, Artemis, and Hail Mary. Hail Mary is an unbelievable book. It's an incredible read. It's for the humor, science. It's a brilliant written book. And apparently they adapted it into a good movie. So this kid in his early 20s, was talking about it and going, well, I don't like them. I don't like when they do humor in it. They should keep going. It's a movie. Dude, Andy Weir's books are all about humor.
Right.
In a bad situation, right? And I said, you need to read the books. And the guy and his partner goes, oh, look, it's another one of those read the books nerds. We're talking about the movie. We don't want to talk about the books. Where do you think the movie came from, you fucking asshole?
All the movies come from the books. 98% of them.
And the thing is like listening to going, how can you judge that without look, the books to me matter as much as the movie. Okay? And the only time I've come matter as much as the movie. Okay? And the only time I've come to a series of movies where I didn't read the books was The Hunger Games.
Right.
Then I read the books. And the books were better than the movies, but the movies are great. They did a good job because someone believed in the books. If you haven't seen The Hunger Games, check it out. I think they're available on Peacock. But they have other books.
Good night, PJ.
They have and the other books are there. That the new one they're doing, Sunrise on the Reaping. That book is great, and they take that and they have to give the visual to it. But if you sit there and just knock books and don't read, how can you have an opinion about fiction?
Did you see what Curious One says? Stephen King books are much better than the movies.
So yeah, a good amount of them are. Now, The Green Mile, they did a great job of adapting that.
With that football movie?
No, that's the one with Michael Duncan in the prison.
Oh, Michael. Yeah.
Duncan, yeah, with Tom Hanks. That they did a good job on that one. They did a good job on Christine, which is a good movie, decent movie compared to the books.
That was that Carl, right?
You can't. Yeah, and Misery. Have you ever seen Misery? Ooh,
oh God, yes.
Yeah.
Who hasn't seen that?
Yeah. So yes, a lot of them they can't do it. Stephen King say, I mean, his biggest thing now we're on Book Talk. Hey, welcome to Book Talk on TikTok. The Dark Tower series. They never did it right. They made a movie with oh God, I just drew a blank on his name because he's in every damn movie. The black actor.
Morgan Freeman?
No, the English guy. I know someone's going to help me.
I know you're talking about.
Yeah.
Uh, he's fuck. I just had his name in my. I just had his name.
Yeah. Getting old sucks. I mean, he's in like Luther.
Bald. Yeah, I
He's
know you're
in.
talking about with the mustache.
Yeah.
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 Um,
And I mean, he's the one that made that one movie, Pacific Rim, work.
yeah, he's like
It,
Mr.
it,
Handsome, whatever the fuck his
yeah.
name is. I know you're talking about.
Yeah. People will drop it and thing, but they did that one
Idris
movie.
Alba.
Yeah, Idris Elba. There we
Yeah.
go. Yeah, great actor. And he's in so much stuff, and he does so well. But they ruined. They didn't. The guy who did the movie doesn't understand the concept of the books. Those are books that need to be adapted in a series like they did with Game of Thrones.
Right.
They
Well,
have. It's got to be huge.
I
Thing.
got a nice segue for you then.
Mhm.
Not to come off the books, but what do you think about Mr. Hegseth bringing his book into the military, his Bible, his White Christian National Bible? They say now he's quoting scriptures in briefings, which that's not allowed in the military at all.
No, he's basically ruined. He's a joke to begin with. Whenever he speaks, you know he is not a serious person. Can't take him seriously.
No.
As for the Christian nationalism, look, his preacher, his confidant preacher, has called for the death of James Tallarico.
Wow.
And he said that he's praying for his death, that God should kill him.
Tallarico is a pastor.
I know. But
So
that's what we got.
what is the leopards eating their faces now? I mean, what the?
Well, I mean, they're not Christians. Understand, evangelicals are not Christians. They're a cult. They're a cult around their preachers. Okay? Look at mega churches. Okay? Mega churches exist not to service God in the public, it's to service the preacher who created them.
Right.
I mean, the Righteous Gemstones that was on HBO, that's not a comedy show. That's a fucking documentary
Wow.
on mega churches. And I mean, in a sense, because, I mean, look at what they do. They take money, but they don't give. I mean, it's not about God. It's about um, enhancing them. I mean, that includes, hey, Bo, how you doing? They like, there's a video of this guy, this preacher, a black church, who who was it was going after people because they didn't make their tithes, saying that don't worry about your food or anything. Take care of the church.
Yeah,
Dude,
Creflo Dollar.
really?
Well, hell,
Yeah.
remember when we had this? There was something going on right in the beginning of Trump's presidency, and that lady was calling around for diapers to all those
Oh,
mega
yeah.
churches, and they all
Just like
told
for
her
a can of
basically,
formula.
yeah,
And the one church or the one um, place of religion that was ready to help them was a mosque
yeah, exactly.
and a small church in Kentucky with a guy who's literally the preacher is. You run across as a Christian, I've run across maybe 3 or 4 people I would really think they're touched by God. One of them being my mom, and one of them being an old pastor we had in our Methodist church before he left it, who literally, we didn't even call him pastor, we called him brother. You could tell,
hmm
if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
And I've seen that guy, they call him Papa in North Carolina. That's a man touched by God. He's doing
well,
God's work.
what they're saying is that Pete's ideology doesn't like Muslims, right? And they
Nope.
think that he has them fighting a holy war in his behalf, and they're
Well,
pissed.
well, look what's going on. You have Christians saying that. There are videos of people waiting for the end of the world. Why you want the end of the world, I don't get it. Okay? They're going to get a big surprise. And then there are literally Orthodox Jews, rabbis, who are saying that this is a holy war for the third temple. It's just
I,
all tied together. It's all
yeah, I've heard
insane.
that. I don't know what that means, but I did hear that third temple thing. Yeah.
It's all, the thing about it is all religions have their really far right stuff. Okay, being Orthodox, being Judaism, Islam, Christianity, but they all do the same things.
Or like
If
us
you
Southern
notice that,
Baptists, but we don't get to the
yeah,
snake wrangling piece of it.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Yeah.
yeah. And here's the thing: they could they all have the same things in common: suppression of intelligence, suppression of education, suppression of women, and total control of your life. Look at each of them. It doesn't matter if they're using a Talmud, a Quran, or a Bible. They all do the same translations.
Yeah. I
It's
just saw
all
a
the
pastor,
same.
a black pastor on TikTok. I thought it was fake at first, but then I saw
Mhm.
more and more videos from different angles. And he was upset that the roof didn't get built on the church like it was supposed to with the building fund. So he
Right.
was making members bring in their W-2s to make sure they had enough money to give to him. And I'm like, my mother would be getting yanked out of that church if I was there. You know what I mean? It's time to go, Mom.
Yeah, we got to go.
Yeah,
No,
we gotta
that's
go.
just. I mean, we left. We had a good Methodist church we went to for a while, and then they got a really conservative preacher, and I knew it was time to go. And it was a long time ago. I knew it was time to go when the week that the Supreme Court ruled that same-sex marriage is not unconstitutional. He literally was praying. Was praying at the. I want to say the altar. I don't know I forgot what they call it in Methodist Church. And he was praying there because he knew that America had left God because of the decision.
Wow.
I'm done.
Yep, I'm out.
I'm finished.
Yeah,
I'm
we'll see you,
out.
brother. Yep.
I mean, and that's the thing. It's like they don't heed Jesus' words. They don't follow his words. And I like Tellerico had a good speech the other day talking about, they don't follow Jesus. They don't suffer they don't help the poor. They don't welcome the stranger. He called them out because that's what we're dealing with. They keep invoking the name of Jesus and God, but they're not godly.
No, and
They're
I tell you what
not.
threw me off, Will. My mom used to
Mm,
tell me I overthink too much, right? So when I used to go to church with her, like I say, we're Baptists. And I'm from the South, so I
right.
guess you could say we're Southern Baptists. But they would always say, "Come as you are. God accepts you for who you are." But
Correct.
that didn't count toward the offering, I thought, because no matter how much you gave, it was never enough. And they will point you out. But I'm thinking, okay, you said come as I am. Well, I came in here broke with $2. I gave you $1 of that, right? So you get $1 and I keep $1. I'm just throwing some easy
Right.
math out there. So why isn't that enough for you? Why are you shaming me to give you the other dollar?
And yeah, I mean, and this is what Pete Hesketh, and he is part of this Project 2025. Their version of religion is basically, they say it, they're going to push their version of Christianity on you, which is control. And a holy war in what you're doing in Iran. Let's face it, they look at this as another set of the Crusades.
Yeah. Well, that I'm still, this whole thing still baffles me and everybody else, right? There's talks of him, backing it down within the next 30 days, pulling our guys out. They said that our biggest ship that we had out there is already docked back to shore, but then he sent an additional 1,000. I saw in California, your home state, where they had trains, I mean, train after train after train of military equipment pushing out there. So who knows what the hell we're getting into?
I,
And the last thing I heard today that our country is now insolvent. We don't have any money. We're just printing money out of fucking thin air.
yeah, I heard that. The Treasury Department says we're insolvent.
Yes.
Why do you make that announcement? Do you know what that's going to do to the dollar? What's going to do to finances? Where is that? I mean, what does that mean?
And they just snuck
Okay.
that in there. It means that, okay, we're spending money that we don't have and we're going to be bankrupt. The dollar won't be shit.
Okay, that's called deficit spending. We've been doing that for decades. What is the goal?
I
That's
think
gonna.
the goal is to set off an alarm. That's just what you know what I mean? To set off some sort of alarm, some kind of panic somewhere, like a little small fire that rages out of control.
Here's the panic for these idiots. Okay, if countries call in our bonds because we're insolvent, we have to pay it,
Right.
and that's going to crack the economy. Who would do that?
I think somebody would do that uh, because they know the ship is going down and they wanted to make sure they were somewhat on the right side of history by saying, "Hey, listen, I did my part. I said that we were insolvent. It was printed. It had my name behind it. So I'm not going to jail for you. You know what I mean?
Jeez.
That's the
Yeah.
only thing I could think of, Will.
All right.
And
But
they
I mean,
snuck
it's
that one
just
in. Remember, it wasn't like a big announcement. Just kind of like, oh, hey, by the way, we're insolvent.
okay. Well, I got to look that one up, and that's good. That's not good. That's not good in any way. Trucker, I want to thank you for popping in, bro. I got early morning taxes tomorrow.
Yeah, you go right
Looking
ahead.
forward for that.
I saw you and
Yeah.
I figured I'd stop on in. So
No, I appreciate it. I was just kind of winding my way through stuff. Um, you can find Trucker on his TikTok. Do you have a Substack or anything like that, bro?
yeah,
People
I
can
got
find you.
Substack and all that. Everything is under Trucker TM.
All right. And yeah, check him out. He'll pop up on Mike's podcast like I do. Also, you can find me here, RJ12764 TikTok. Again on Substack at Binder38 US. I have 140 followers. I want to get 200. Again, if you want to help me out, do a paid subscription. It's $8 a month. That would help me out immensely. And I am on TikTok at Binder38 US. Sorry, not TikTok, YouTube. Binder38 US at YouTube. But everyone have a good night. Read a book. It helps. And y'all take care. Thanks, Trucker. You be safe out there, bro, okay?
Yeah, we'll see you, Will.
Later, bro.